Today our topic is racism in the NFL. Now the National Football League is a professional American football league consisting of two different conferences, the National Football Conference as well as the American Football Conference. Now I don't know much about the AFL, don't hear much about it, but NFL is what we're going to talk about. The NFL has 32 team owners, and they have all decided that they would introduce a policy requiring players to stand for the national anthem. Now those refusing to do so have two options. Either in the locker room, they have to remain in the locker room. Those refusing to do have two options. They stay in the locker room until the Star-Spangled Banner has ended or run the risk of being fined for non-compliance. Now this is an obvious violation of players' First Amendment rights, and the issue is inexplicably about race. Now according to data from the Institute of Diversity and Ethics in Sports, 94% of NFL franchise owners and 75% of head coaches are white. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell and most of the league's top executives are white. Blacks own majority stakes in none of the 32 teams. Again, blacks own majority stakes in none of the 32 teams. Only 7 NFL head coaches in the 2017 year were black, yet 70% of the NFL players are black. A new policy clearly signals white control of black players' body and rights to kneel in peaceful protest against police brutality and other racial issues during the national anthem. Put differently, a majority white group of overseers created and will enforce a policy restricting black players the freedom of expression. The power is seemingly not with those who use their bodies to earn $7.8 billion for their teams and the league, but rather with whites who profit most from their labor. Y'all hear these numbers?
I mean,
32 teams, we have no stake in any of that.
Well, why is that a shock?
Well, it's
I
not.
mean, they recently came out.
It's not.
And stated that the NFL the entire time has been rigged.
Absolutely.
You know, it's all about money. So
well,
why?
See, again, none of us are surprised. This is why we bring this up so that people get the clear understanding that, you know, again, there are no freedoms. There is, you know, the country was built on racism. So every aspect, from political, social, every aspect of our lives are defined some kind of way by racism. So, like you said, David, it's nothing new.
And I think the players get lost, not only in the NFL, but
Money.
Right, they get lost in the money.
They do.
And I can appreciate that if you come from an environment where you do not have any money, where you cannot do anything for your family, and you are provided an opportunity to utilize a skill, a God-given skill.
Right.
And someone's going to pay you stupid money to do it.
Okay.
I can appreciate that in the beginning, you might be okay with that. But if you look at people like later on down the road who want to have a stake in the sport that they played in. What is it, Magic Johnson, doesn't he?
Well, that's NBA. NBA is a totally different. They're in a better position than NFL, from what I could tell.
They're in no better position.
Well, I've heard that they
are. They're in no better position in the respect that the players have had actually in the NFL had a longer opportunity. NFL has been established
since
a lot longer.
Since 1920.
And they make more money.
Well, 1920. No, I think from what I've read,
I don't know
NBA
about that.
makes more
That's
money.
debatable. But they've had a long time to be able to establish and to get ownership, just like the players in NFL, like Magic Johnson and Michael Jordan.
He's NBA.
Right. NBA, yeah.
Right.
So these guys just don't take their money and put it back into the system. They don't take their money and put back and become majority owners and reinvest. Exactly. You know, we're too busy buying cars and houses and
chasing women,
blings and booed up.
And I think Michael Jordan did in fact buy a station. Did he? I mean, not buy a station, but didn't he buy
Magic Johnson bought
NBA?
What are you talking about?
Not Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan and Magic Johnson.
And Magic Johnson both have stakes in NBA.
Absolutely.
Okay, but national football.
That's two people.
But of 32 different teams, blacks in the NFL
have
no stake.
Absolutely.
So at least again, NBA is in a much better situation.
They're in a better situation.
Okay, then that was my point.
Well, the point I'm making is that.
Oh, don't wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute.
Sookie now.
Sookie.
He pointed his fingers both of them.
Yeah. Is that the guys in the NFL and the players in the NFL have had more opportunity. They've had a longer opportunity to be able to have a stake. They still have an opportunity to do so, and they should take advantage of what's going on now to make a change. We, as
a consumer,
okay. We can make that change also
okay.
by not supporting them.
We already know.
By not supporting them. But there are people that will support them anyway because they just love football.
Well, see, I was told by someone that football is the working man's sport.
Okay.
So
that's
I guess
fantastic.
However,
Yeah.
And
So
then,
I'm just saying, right?
But when things happen, those very working men are also impacted by when things are not going in the direction that they need to go. Well, they like you said, they should have a say. They should have an impact. But I think, to me, it's education.
absolutely.
The Magic Johnsons and the Michael Jordans, if they know, even though they may not be exactly the same, somebody needs to start the conversation with these guys and say, okay, so you're getting ready to sign this big money contract. What happens after you can't play no more?
And one of the guys that I work with, he's a white guy, he's in construction, and he says, well, Mary, you know what NFL means? I said, what? He said, not for long. Now, see, if you recall, David, we did something similar, and in my mind, NFL means not for leaders.
Right.
Because they cannot tolerate a strong black man having a voice.
Right.
Whether he uses it vocally or not, or uses it in a perceived means by taking a knee. And the argument that he and I had in the office was, you know, Catholics genuflect all day long. Genuflect is kneeling to the Lord.
Yep.
What's the difference? I mean, why is this deemed, when he does it, why is it deemed as some disrespect? Giving a knee is really that, and being postulated out on the floor as a Christian, all of that is part of honor and worship.
Listen, whenever us black people, brown people, when we stand up, when we take a position, then it's wrong.
Well,
when they take a position, it's okay.
Well, we did that last week when we talked about.
Or we're being sensitive.
Yeah, right.
We're being overly sensitive.
Yeah, you know, again, even my daughter said something yesterday about the terminology. We mentioned this last week in Racism Dead or Alive, in that when a black man does something, it is terrorist, it's this, it's that. But when a white man does it, he's mentally disturbed and yada. I mean, there are words to cover up how they are viewed, but we're looked upon, we're villainized right off the top.
not even just view, how we're handled.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
You know,
Yeah.
how we're handled, because like the church, the boy who shot up the church, came out with a bulletproof vest and completely escorted and guarded the entire time. Yet conveniently, when it's a person of color, man, they got aggressive, and you know, we had no choice.
Your face is in the dirt. And they also took this guy to McDonald's because he was hungry. The guy who killed him, who sat there and worshiped with these people, took Bible study with these people, and then got up and shot every last one of them. And he said, yeah, I did it. I'm starting a race war. So again, you know, racism, the only reason we're talking about it, guys, is simply because it exists. It is alive and well. We have a president who feeds it along, you know, shoes it to go forward. So here we are.
Right, and it's about to be the start of football season, preseason.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah, it's starting
very
right
much
now.
Appropriate.
That's exactly what
So I say boycott football.
Okay, that's another reason I want to do this, is because there is a 5-week preseason session event that started last week. That was the first one, August 2nd. The second game of the 5-week preseason starts tomorrow. So, you know, again, it is at the beginning of season, and we need to decide how we're going to do things. Marching and all that stuff just doesn't get it. You know, like, I agree with Martin Luther King. Shut it down, take your money.
And that's what should happen. I mean, to me, it's like anything else, any other business that if you don't like what someone is doing, you have control over your dollars and your physical presence.
Right.
But take away your physical presence and your dollars, I promise you somebody will start to hear what you have to say.
But see, I don't know that we're disciplined enough. What do you think, David?
When it comes to it, it as far as entertainment, if and when it happens, it's gonna take a bit, and because we're all looking for an out, just like with alcohol and tobacco. Okay, well they inundate low income neighborhoods and minority in neighborhoods with pawn shops and liquor stores and everything else. Yet we continue to go there.
Absolutely.
You know, and we know what
Yeah.
they're doing.
Yeah,
We continue to go there. You know, but when we do get together, we are a force to be reckoned with. Recently on Facebook, there was a video that went viral. Somebody, he happened to be a black guy who worked at this construction site, and he was filming how all the Latinos on that construction site were leaving.
Oh, I saw that.
And the way it happened, right, the way it happened, it absolutely was. Especially when he showed, hey, this is what it looks like now afterwards. They had to shut it down because all the essays left.
Shut
You know?
down.
I mean, completely shut down that site. So it was great in the fact that the way it started, there was an issue with a small group of the Latinos, and they were told they needed to go home. And so the rest of everybody else was like, oh, you want to send them home? Then all of us are going home.
And that's how you do it.
You know, so it when we get down to it, we're forced to be reckoned with. An entire construction site, yet Latinos are the ones taking your jobs.
I am in construction. I'm in new home construction. And I remember a couple of years ago when the Hispanics were upset about something. Trust me, there was not one hammer hitting a nail that entire day. All of the Hispanics band together and shut down construction in Houston. You know how big that is?
Right.
In the meantime, we'll talk about that when we come back. We've got to go to break. Stay right there.
Alright, so you a little bit faster than you doing?
With this on, I'm like, it feels weird. I need to see
You
it.
a little bit faster than you doing so? Like, could you
Do we have anything
Well,
anything to give our Facebook viewers?
again, we're going to let them know about the right realtor, and having the right realtor agent means having an agent who is committed to helping you buy or sell your home with the highest level of expertise. And this means contacting someone that you
Share
can
your
trust.
opinion by calling 713-789-0096. Stay tuned.
Reading a good book is intimate self-indulgence. Hi, this is Silky Smooth with the All About You show. And I recommend reading Ingredients to Loving Yourself, Nourishment from the Inside Out by Gloria Davis Armstrong. Each page is like a pilgrimage to self-discovery. Unlock your ingredients to loving yourself more. This book was done with your senses. Begin your journey to self-love today by visiting keys2loveself.com and place your order. That's keys2loveself.com.
got this stuff already.
Life is so complex today. Are you having trouble understanding what's going on in the world? Tune in today to get focus of today's world. Join me every Thursday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time on the Vision Life Radio. Get some abilities needed to deal with today's problems. This is perspective.
Yes, that's when you come in.
Oh, am I talking about
30 seconds?
Yes.
We have a viewer comment for Facebook.
I'm Chase. I'm Champ. I'm Cassidy. And I'm Chandler. And you're tuned in
When I say check it out, I mean like do it slow, not just straight up crazy, you know what I'm saying? So like it sounds weird, like it sounds natural.
Marion, when we come back,
Fade it out when we go.
do the intro
Come
and
back
then
in,
I'm
right.
going to
Like
comment on the number Facebook
they
and
play a
then
little
read a
bit,
comment.
then fade it out, and fade it out all the way, not automatically, but real slow.
Welcome back. You're listening to All About You with OMG and Friends, where we talk about the things that you think about. I am your host, OMG, along with my co-host,
Daydream.
Your wellness warrior, Susan Nett.
and
Brian Cossey.
again, we'd like to thank you for joining us. We really would like to have your input, and I think based on that, Daydream, do you want to?
Yes, please give us a call here at the studio, 713-789-0096. You can also text us at 833-OMGNU. That is 833-664-2638. And thank you to Prince Willis, who checked in with us on Facebook. He commented,
Thank you.
NFL owners are some of the most racist plantation owners in the world.
He's right.
But folks need to realize when they make the money, go buy your own team and get a voice at the table to change the dialogue and discussion.
Excellent.
Every brother wants to floss, but there are millionaires working for multi-billionaires who are the real shot callers.
Absolutely. Oh, who said
Nice,
that?
Very well said.
Oh,
Thank
yeah.
you, Prince.
Prince, you
Thank
said
you,
that.
Prince.
That was
Yeah.
perfect.
Well
Absolutely.
said.
Well
Well
put.
said.
A little bit of information I have here. Now, many of you probably don't know that one of the first blacks to play football was Kenny Washington. But anyway, that's a whole other story. But the NFL started in the 1920s, and a handful of African Americans played in the new league. And between 1934 and 1946, there were no blacks playing in the NFL because they were officially ruled against having them. And there was also an unwritten understanding among the teams. The teams would not allow African Americans into the league. Now, some owners and coaches claim that the African Americans were not good enough for the NFL. That's hard to believe.
Oh my
Since
word.
half of the 3/4 of the team
Well,
is black.
it's not hard to believe that they did not want blacks.
Well, they don't want us to show them up.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I think anything that
But,
you
you know,
bring us into, we excel.
But it became money.
Became money,
Okay.
and it was
Well,
about-
when they realized what they bred,
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely. Yeah.
seriously,
Yeah.
you know, because the weak were thrown off the ship. If they made it even that far, you know, they were thrown off the ship. You know, once they got off the ship, you know, if you were maimed or what happened, okay, get rid of them. You know, shoot them in the head, type
Yeah,
of mentality.
that's right. And throw 'em
So
overboard.
yeah, so when you filter out the weak links, quote unquote, that's what you're breeding, because they needed more workers, more slaves to continue working their land. Okay, that's what you bred. You built them for strength
right.
and endurance. So now then they got to see, okay, wait a minute, if we put them in sports or allow them in sports, we can make money that way too.
See, you know, sports is almost like a religion.
Oh,
I mean, in this country,
Mhm.
it is worship, it is glorified, it brings in big money.
Right.
But unfortunately, the people who get hurt through this, even though you make the money,
Right. Right.
and like my colleague said, it's not for long, so you make money, a lot of money for a short period of time, but you need to do something with that money. Like David said, buy your own team. Nobody really has,
Yeah.
nobody really
Well,
has
the other
that.
thing is, think about it. They're getting them fresh out of high school and fresh
Right,
out
that's
of, you
true.
know, before they finish college. They're encouraging them, hey, you know, let's scout and let's get them drafted and everything else. Why? Why educate them? Why allow them to be
Yeah.
educated?
Well, what-
And then
again-
once they get injured, they have nothing else to fall back on
That's
because
it,
they know
exactly.
nothing other than, you know, let me wear this, let me wear that, and I get paid. You know.
That's
And we're gonna buy your mama a house, by the way, when you come out of high school.
Right.
We're gonna make it all
Thank you, Penelope Love, who commented. She
Love.
stated, "People are loyal to the NFL like they are being paid to watch."
Absolutely.
Andre Rogers says, hashtag boycott the NFL, and I see my brother up there.
Yeah, what's up? What's up?
I think we really need to consider there's strength in your dollars, okay? And we did a show a while back on the spending power of
Yes.
the minority, both brown and black communities. I mean, it can shut the system down.
But,
So I
But
say
you have to be disciplined enough to want to just make a difference.
and not be so afraid.
And not be so afraid. Yeah, right.
go to church. Forget Sunday's football. Go to church. Go to church. Forget it for a year. Give them up for a year.
See
Give
what
them up for
happens
1
then.
year. Go to church. Go to church.
That may
Or at
change.
least meditate.
Let's do something.
You know, 'cause
Yeah.
then that's the other big
Wait.
business you got to deal with is organized religion. You know,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
so
Yeah.
you know,
Well,
so
that's another show.
stay home,
And
stay
spend time with your kids. I
Go on
don't
a
mind
trip.
going. Then again, I'm a free thinker when I do go.
I
So
know
I
that's
follow
right.
I follow
That's
the,
okay.
follow the word and not the man.
right?
It's better than football.
And spending time with one's family.
Absolutely, it's better than
one-on-one.
that. So give them up for a year. Give them up.
They'll,
Let 'em go.
they'll appreciate us
Make 'em
differently
pay.
if we came back.
Oh yeah. And,
Yeah.
and I have friends and colleagues who have children. When you listen to how much they pour into this game with their kids, got to get the football scholarship. Got to get now. Okay, you're not thinking about getting them educated because they may go in their first year and break something and never be able
And
to
then
play
they're done.
football.
They have
Right?
no
They get
skill.
kicked out of college.
Yeah, because they never had the academic qualifications.
Exactly,
Absolutely.
exactly. So I look at that as well as we put so much into their ability to play the sport, so that they can. And some of the parents are as much to blame because they'll say, "My baby gonna play football, so he can take care of me."
Take care of his mama. Yeah, you know that's what they'll say.
And
No.
it's like,
I mean, okay.
well,
Nothing wrong with pushing your kid in something that they are very good at and can excel in and make money in.
Right.
And whether you're be a football player or a lawyer or a firefighter or a
You're less likely to
bartender or
get head
whatever it
injuries.
is.
however, comma. Go ahead, hit me with it. What you got? Sorry.
But we as a people, we have to stand up for what's right and what's wrong. And when we are being wrong and you're good at this and you're being taken advantage of, then you have to right that wrong. And sometimes that means you have to suffer a little bit doing that, like Colin Kaepernick.
Long
And absolutely. I mean, I tip my hat off to him. Who I don't tip my hat off to.
Don't
Well,
tell
well.
me Dax Prescott. Oh, I'll bring him up in a minute. I'll bring him.
That's a
Go ahead. What are you gonna
segue.
say?
Jim Brown.
I was gonna say.
Oh,
Jim
yeah.
Brown
Oh,
has
he's in there
disappointed
too.
me.
Yeah.
You know,
Jim.
I'm thinking, Jim, what the, I almost cursed.
He's 82
What?
years old.
I don't care.
And made it clear. He says, He never kneeled during an anthem.
And no, he didn't.
But it wasn't the same. It wasn't the same way of protesting when he was coming.
He protested in a different way.
Right, it was a protest in a different way.
We're talking about protesting. We're not talking about disrespecting America. We're not talking about disrespecting the flag. Actually, I'm gonna tell you, they disrespect the flag every game. Because if you look at the rules, the laws of disrespecting the flag, you're not supposed to have that flag laying flat. And they have the flag on the field every game laying flat. The flag is supposed to be straight up. Okay? And when you lay that flat, that's disrespectful. That is.
I thought that's why they waved it.
Oh,
isn't that supposed to?
It waved it because
we disrespect it with the symbol of the flag on anything that we wear. Our bikinis, bandanas, our cell phone covers. That's total.
Not by government rule. Not by government rule.
It's stated somewhere, and I can't remember. So if you would want to help me out, but I know it's stated somewhere that's disrespect. Any other country won't allow it.
That's right. And know what? Our engineer has something to say.
Millennials.
All right, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
So it's like a whole procedural thing with flag. It's like a document that says you're not supposed to wear the clothes, or you're not supposed to use it for commercials to advertise your business and stuff like that. Also,
really?
Did y'all hear this?
See again, but
so we have all disrespected it. Yeah, we're sitting there pointing at it. Well, you disrespected it more than me.
Oh, they've been disrespecting. They disrespect their own rules.
Well, see, they don't have to. They don't have to honor kneeling. They don't have to honor them. It's just I wasn't aware. There's another quarterback. And Kaepernick is listed as one of the top 10 quarterbacks. From Warren Moon up to him is number 10. Mm-hmm. But more importantly, there is the Dallas Cowboys quarterback, Dak Prescott, who is also biracial. Mom is white, dad is black.
Yeah.
Now, he has kind of drawn attention to the fact that basically Kaepernick should not have done this. This is not the venue for that. But if not now, then when? And if not Kaepernick, then who?
Right.
So it's kind of like, when does this get done? Mm-hmm. And so, I even talked to some millennials about it, and their first inclination was, you shouldn't protest where you work. And that's the position a lot of the millennials are taking. In other words, you are being hired and paid to be on that field, so you should not have any objection. I'm just telling you what the millennials think. Now, I
say the ones who want a job with zero experience, yet expect to get paid, CEO salary.
That's his job.
So during the
it is his job.
Let's boycott.
His job is to play football.
Football
not
is his
to
job.
stand for a flag or not to.
Well, he's a black man in America, which has no.
That's like any other office. If I'm being sexually harassed at work and nothing's being done about it, and I choose to protest or choose to start a petition or anything, well, you work there. That's exactly why I'm going to do it.
Yes,
well, I disagree with Prescott, because I do believe that whatever venue God has given you to enhance the populace, then we're supposed to do that. We have an obligation to that. My friend, even Beyonce, as a matter of fact, she'll take a position on her show. On her stage, to take a position, whether it's fist or against police or whatever it is. People use what they have available and ready to them to make a statement.
To shine your light on.
Andre Rogers commented, "We as colored people have more power than any other race on the planet, but are afraid of change, or shall I say any disruption in our daily lives. Too damn comfortable." We also have Penelope, who stated, "We as a people have to go beyond sports. Yes, they may be great as athletes, but the reality of it is their athletic career has a shelf life. Then what? They can catch, dribble, and throw a ball, but can't balance a checkbook, don't know how to budget, can't begin to tell you about investing, and of course, the list goes on."
She's a financial advisor, by the way, you all. So she definitely can tell you, because her customer base lets it be known that people already don't know how to do this. And some of the stories that she told me are frightening.
I can believe it.
Frightening. So thank you for that financial aspect.
I don't understand. Kaepernick does have. What is your take? Do you support Kaepernick in what he has done? I was almost upset because he didn't have black support when he first started. It's like they were mad at him.
They were afraid.
They were mad. Yeah,
because that's all that anger is
it's fear.
It's fear, absolutely. I support him 100%.
I do as well, but the younger people.
Actually, to take it even further, we, as minorities, shouldn't support any company that does not stand up for us, that does not treat us fairly,
with respect,
that does not give us or bipartisan, that we need to stop. Okay, because we can control things with our dollars.
But see, we're too afraid. When we did the research on the spending power, it basically said that of the, I think it was 17 point something trillion dollars, but at any rate, $1.7 trillion for Hispanics and $1.9 trillion for blacks or something like that. But either way, it was a lot of damn money. But the bottom line is, most of our money was going to observables. Now you all know exactly what that means.
Yep.
Our money, minority dollars, were going to what you could see.
Right.
Materials.
Those material things that you could observe that I have. I have a new Cadillac. You know, I got
these fresh J's on my
$1,000
feet.
Gucci shoes.
I got a little car, but it's
That's
fresh.
Right.
But they had nothing about investing.
Ain't got no food in the fridge, but,
No, but I look
fine,
good.
fresh.
But I look good.
What is wrong with our generation? Because our grandparents, who have far less than us,
Had more. They had
have
more.
far more. What's wrong with us? We are doing something terribly wrong.
I'll
It
tell
is time for
We've
us
gotten
to
so
look in
used
the
to
mirror.
having everything that we don't appreciate it.
I'll tell you what's wrong.
And we
I
take
said
it for
this
granted,
before.
you know,
I
because
believe-
somebody else did the work for us.
That's
So
right.
let me just ride the wave.
Ride the wave.
Spoil.
What I think this is, and I said this before, a lot of people don't agree with this. I think we were better off when we were segregated.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
People don't agree with
Let's
that.
start.
That's a whole nother conversation.
Let's start a
We
whole
need to
nother
go-
league. Let's start a new league.
What's that?
When we were segregated, when we had our own whatever it is. Because once we got integrated, then we started to take on, I can do what they do. I can shop where they shop. I can do what they do. So consequently, you don't develop your own community and spend the dollars in your neighborhood. You're now spending all those dollars at Neiman's, at Saks.
Because
The
you
only-
can.
The only businesses that really have stayed in place over the years has been the hair salon,
Yep.
the barber shop,
Yep.
and the old school undertaker.
But
That's it.
unfortunately, though, those three businesses don't make the kind of money that
They
they
don't.
did 50
Back
years
then,
ago
right.
or 60 years ago. Why? Because
We're integrated.
we're
do what we
integrated.
want.
We can't buy our product. We don't go to anybody. We don't go to anybody that look like us to buy our hair care
No.
product.
No, we go to Walmart to the ethnic hair care section, not even the aisle.
Yeah,
but just
not
that
even
little
Walmart.
shelf.
I mean, it's
Yeah, right?
The shelf.
Yeah, Walmart as well. So
Or to
I mean,
the
it's-
Asian beauty supply. down the
exactly.
street.
There you go. So
And now you have Pantene and all these shampoo companies making. You know, I was walking the dog the other day, and there was some commercial on about Pantene. It's called Golden something, and it's strictly made for black women. The scientists at Pantene have just come up with, get real. We've had nappy hair, the same hair for thousands of years. Now all of a sudden Pantene. I mean, come on. You
weren't giving us any love
You
before.
weren't
All of a
giving us
sudden,
any love.
it's
dollars
marketing.
from that.
It's
Maybe
different.
it's more meant for those
marketing.
mixed chicks.
I don't know.
Maybe that's who they're truly marketing. You know, there is a product called mixed chicks,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Are you
Yeah.
serious?
Yeah.
There is, yeah.
Great leave-in conditioner.
Let it be known, she said.
Mixed
Hey.
chicks, okay.
Yeah.
You
But-
tried it.
Absolutely.
One of my girlfriends has it, and it's really good. It keeps your hair nice and soft. You know, I have. This is my natural hair.
Hispanic.
This
Yeah.
is air dried. This isn't. You know, this is a lot
Love
of
it. Y'all see this on
conditioner
Facebook?
and moisturizer in here. This isn't anything special. This is my natural hair,
Right.
and I'm, as far as I know, I'm 100% Latino.
Okay, so
So
there's
it doesn't
no mixing-
matter
there's no
what
mixing
color we
there.
are. You know, it's
You
just
made that
we're
shit
all
up.
mixed at some
No
point in some way or
mixing
another.
here. I am full bred.
Right,
Okay,
right.
I'm thoroughbred.
But that just goes to show
Absolutely.
we're all related in
We're all
some way. We're all
connected.
mixed. We're
Oh,
all
I-
connected.
that is true.
We really want to hear you guys' opinion. If you have an opinion about the NFL and do you support the NFL, do you support Kaepernick, give us a call, 713-789-0096. I have yet to hear about the AFL. Where the hell is the AFL?
Oh, AFL's gone.
Okay, so
Is it gone?
okay.
Yeah, it's been going.
But I thought they said that they divided, you know, the research basically said that they divided into two conferences. NFL, which is the National Football Conference, and then the American Football Conference. And there are 32 teams, so I guess 16. So there's nothing in AFL? AFL is over?
No, I haven't heard anything about the AFL in years. It's just
Maybe
the
it's talking
NFL.
about the conference, like when the
you're
teams play
talking,
against each
that
other.
was
so I'm talking
30 years ago. That was
Okay,
40 years
but
ago.
the racism
Yeah, that
has
was-
been around
Yeah,
the
the
entire
Eastern
time.
Conference, Western.
Yeah, it's
That's
Eastern
all.
and Western Conference now, but the two leagues are gone. It's
That's
just
gone.
one league.
Okay.
Now,
either way,
for those of you that just have to watch football, I'm gonna give you two options.
Uh-oh.
Watch college football
Love
or
college football.
or you can watch the Canadian League.
Oh wow.
Yeah, or you can watch this other culture. What is it called? They call it football, which is
Oh, that's soccer.
That's soccer. Okay, well that's what they call football. Isn't that what they call football?
I'm like, what did you just call it?
Well, you know, they kind of.
I thought you were talking like foosball. I'm like, what? They're like, that's a real thing.
They have a league? What?
They spell it like football, like F-O with the accent G-O.
F-U-T-B-O.
Yeah, right.
She said, let me help you. I love it. I love it.
But leave the NFL alone. Leave them alone.
Thank you, everyone who's listening and chiming in via Facebook. Jason, my mom, thank you for chiming in.
Mom.
And also to Quentin, thank you guys for checking in and following along on our feed.
Okay, now I brought up something the other day, just in a passing discussion. I brought up the term Stockholm syndrome. You familiar with it? What do you think about that as it relates to racism? Are we not?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Oh, I'm glad to hear you all say
it's the epitome.
It is the epitome. Can someone tell?
Just keep quiet.
Tell what the Stockholm syndrome
rock
is?
the boat. We're doing okay.
Right. Everything
just
is
go
good.
along with the status quo because
Yes,
it could be worse.
Yes,
That's right. That's
it
exactly
could be
right.
worse.
So I think we have the Stockholm syndrome.
I've worked in environments, and y'all, I'll be 55 years old soon, and I have worked in environments recently where when I mention something to another person of color, they lean in and say, "Girl, don't go messing it up for the rest of us." Can you believe it?
Crazy.
This is 2020. Well, it was 2016.
Still,
then.
the fact that they believe.
And I was just like, so you're okay with all this disrespect, and I'm just being angry.
Right.
Yeah.
See, Stockholm is when you sit there, you have an abuser, and you're comfortable with it. You're okay. It's fine, and everything is good. And I appreciate what they do for me.
Absolutely.
You know?
Because it could be worse.
You get you get used to it.
How the hell you get used to racism?
Well,
I guess we have. I think we
brainwashed.
We have. I mean, it becomes a part of your life. It becomes a part of your regular life. So you adjust to cope with it. Stockholm syndrome is a coping mechanism that human beings
used all these years.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, there are Kaepernick has this thing where he is teaching young men how to react when the police pull you over.
Well, that's one aspect of it.
That's one aspect of it. But that's an unbelievable
that you have to teach that.
That you have to teach
Absolutely.
that.
It is that you have to teach that, but that also there's a lot of the fact it happened because we stopped teaching our children how to show respect and be respectful.
Did we stop that, or did
that starts at home?
Oh, that's our fault.
That starts at home.
Oh, absolutely.
The same way they disrespect teachers and cuss them out and everything else, and the parents are like, "Well, you deal with it. I'm doing this." That starts at home. So all of that, it started with your basics.
I couldn't.
And now it's flourished into
the
nonsense that's going on. No,
I still have my teeth.
You couldn't have done that.
No,
you can't even look.
Don't come up an attitude. Don't roll your eyes. Smack your lips. None of that.
An adult.
You used to say something. What did you say? They said they had ears that.
Oh yeah, I heard you said such and such to Miss So and So down the road.
Come on, my niece isn't even allowed to answer what.
You
don't say that. It's excuse me, and you get up and walk over and say, don't yell from across the house.
Exactly.
As a school teacher.
Where did that start at?
If you say what to me, even my grandkid, you cannot say what to me. Like,
same here.
Excuse me. May I beg your pardon? You better not say what to me. But as Brian was saying earlier, Kaepernick has his own foundation, and the website is Kaepernick7.com. And he teaches kids. The foundation is to fight oppression of all kinds globally through education and social activism. His Know Your Rights campaign is a free campaign for youth, fully funded by Colin Kaepernick himself, to raise awareness of higher education, self-empowerment, and instructions on how to properly interact with law enforcement in various scenarios. Again, nobody else is having to be trained and coerced as to how to speak to a white officer when he pulls you over.
Listener Annabelle stated that that's actually very important when you're talking about she was responding to you, Brian, about having the talk. And it says that's so important. Grey's Anatomy even did an episode about minorities having quote the talk with their children.
See, one time the talk was,
and that was
sex.
actually this past season.
Right. Years ago it was sex.
Completely different meaning.
Now the talk is about this, and so again, go to Kaepernick7.com, and he has purely funded this situation himself, and he has 10 points, and what he teaches these kids is you have the right to be free, you have the right to be healthy, you have the right to be brilliant, you have the right to be safe, you have the right to be loved, you have the right to be courageous, you have the right to be alive, you have the right to be trusted, you have the right to be educated, and you have the right to know your rights.
There you
go.
Yeah. He's not just a
and see, and I think he's going to do well if they have blackballed this man.
Yeah.
Okay. So not only is it football, it's blackball.
Yeah.
So now he can't get hired, and he's one of the top quarterbacks. And another issue I'd like to bring out is the fact that they have all blacks in running back. And I don't know football because I could be using the wrong terminology, but they have blacks playing running backs and all this other stuff, but they don't allow them as frequently as they should to be quarterbacks.
The star player.
You got about 5 black quarterbacks in the NFL.
Because the quarterbacks are the spokesmen of the team, right?
And then they're considered to be the brains behind the game because they're the ones who call the plays. So basically.
Money calls the plays.
Huh?
They just said it's rigged, so money calls the plays.
Money always calls the plays. Ultimately it does.
Quick question, and JR, RJ.
Dyslexic, flip it around.
Yeah,
all right.
Dyslexic. Johnny Manziel.
Ooh, he laughs.
Johnny Manziel, and we will talk about Johnny Manziel after the break.
And we'll be right back.
So you go out there, have your hand over here, and then press play when you're doing that commercial, so you can turn the mics off.
And he was the quarterback.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, he's a big money quarterback. Yeah, he was supposed to be.
So what happened? Get back, don't forget that story.
Yeah. He got in the NFL and he did lousy, so they let him go. Now he's in the Canadian League, and they tore him up. Huh? They tore him.
You mean not playing well? Or?
He played horrible.
Well, see, when you do it, yeah.
He played horrible, but they keep hiring these great white hopes. That's
exactly what I read.
Yeah, because he was the great white hope while he was in college.
Absolutely.
But he wasn't ready.
He had all the qualities of a black quarterback, but he was white.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In college, nobody says he put it back in there, but yeah.
So, because even when it came to the draft, he was expecting to be number 1 in the draft.
Absolutely, and was not.
No way.
And we are back, as you can tell. We have a conversation going.
Nah, the music goes on. Don't stop the commercial. Keep playing. Don't stop the commercial.
Nobody can hear her. Her mic is on.
Yeah, her mic is off.
Yeah. But they can still hear us on Facebook.
And then, why stop the commercial? The commercial playing, they play.
As we discuss the Word of God in a variety of topics on religion, social, economic, cultural, relational, and our favorite, marriage and the family. Tune in.
Yeah, don't let the song play that long.
Heart-to-heart
Just a couple of 10 seconds.
Intimate self-indulgence. Hi, this is Cissy Smooth with the All About You show. I recommend key ingredients to loving yourself. Nourishment from the inside out by Gloria Davis Armstrong. Each page is like a pilgrimage to self-discovery. I love your ingredients to loving yourself. This book will stimulate your senses. Begin your journey to self-love today by visiting Keys to Love Self.
You know yourself, right?
That's keys-to-loveself.com.
Okay. And we are back. You're listening to All About You as we talk about racism and the NFL, and also kind of encouraging you guys to take control of your dollars. Be in control of where they are being spent, and if in fact you're being benefited in any way by doing this, or you a respected race that the NFL is addressing. And so I just think that our social injustices are not being brought to the forefront because they shut it down. So NFL, in my mind, is not for leaders. They do not want viable people with a strong personality as a black man to stand up and say, this is wrong, and brutality should be addressed on every front. It shouldn't have a racial thing attached at all. You were talking about the quarterback, because I said there's 5 quarterbacks.
I just found it interesting. The CFL hired Johnny Manziel. Manziel, is that his name? Johnny Manziel. he was supposed to be
White Hope.
The Great White Hope. Turned out to be terrible in the NFL and didn't look real swell in the CFL last week.
Well, how did he do that? I heard RJ mention that he was supposed to have all of the qualities, all of
the qualities
all the stuff that a black player brings.
Right, right, yeah, but he could not deliver when it came to the big time. But they had him pumped up.
Does that mean he couldn't throw the ball?
I mean,
he couldn't call the play.
Didn't have the skill set. Yeah, didn't have the skill set, and I'm sure he can. Him himself, he could probably come up with 1,001 excuses. But Kaepernick, the point I'm making is Kaepernick was a much better quarterback than him. But they've given this guy a chance. They blackballed
this man.
Yeah, I mean, it was horrible.
But I saw something where he was getting an award or something, Sports Illustrated. He is going to do well. Why? Because his intentions are honorable.
Oh, he's doing well.
I truly believe that. He's going to do well above and beyond football.
He does not need the NFL.
He does not need the NFL.
No. Senator Kaepernick, I'm sorry, did I say that? Senator. But and the thing is, when a lot of people who just jump on a bandwagon, and I'm like that about everything, I'm not just going to jump on a bandwagon just because someone's black, just because they're a woman. But a lot of people jumped on the bandwagon talking poorly about him because of the military connection. And what they did not know was his backstory. They did not know. And what I was looking at here is Green Beret Nate Boyer was one of the people that he conferred with when he was making a determination of what he should do.
He did his research.
And they collaborated on the concept of taking a knee. So he did not completely disrespect the military. He went to someone who he believed would give him good information and help him do this in a respectful manner. So those who did not get the backstory, it wasn't about him being disrespectful.
Right.
He got with someone who told him that this is the best way to do it.
And also it's something I had that basically said that he had done the military research, and that is basically it's a
violent sport, a physical sport, and it's replete with all these military metaphors. It's played on a gridiron, and there are blitzes and a bomb thrown into the end zone while teams march down the field to conquer one another.
All of those are military metaphors.
Right.
Gridiron, blitzes, bombs, marching, the whole 9 yards. So he did his homework. He did exactly what he was supposed to do in order to bring this into fruition. However, when they brought Trump in, and Trump said, "Well, just fire the son of bitches." Now again, that opened up a whole new can of worms because the NFL is mostly black, so therefore the sons of bitches are the sons of black women.
Well, you can fire them, and then you have no sport to play.
Right, exactly.
And that's what that's why they should block it.
I bought a T-shirt that says throws up the middle finger. I started to wear it today, but I thought Gloria would get mad. It says has middle finger, and it has of course you know what that means, and it says Trump at the bottom, and it says "you son of a bitch."
Because that's what he said.
Because that's that's what he said. And when I first got to town, I wore it in the Galleria, and I got more looks. Nobody said anything to me.
Oh, but you got the look.
But I got the looks, and I was waiting on somebody. I dared on. Man, bring it on. Say something. Now, in California, I had no problem.
Of course not.
I got the high five. Yeah, okay.
You're in Texas, sweetie. It's a whole
whole different state here. I said,
a whole different country
something
here.
else.
It's a whole different thing.
War in Chicago, I've got mixed reviews. I did have some people.
But he said this.
Yeah. But I'm saying that to say, I guess I brought that up to say, well, one point, I had one of my good friends. I put that on Facebook. Wore the shirt on Facebook. I got a very good friend of mine. I'm not going to call his name out, but if he's listening, he knows. You know who you are.
You know who, yeah, right.
He called me and texted me and says, "Oh man, take that down off of Facebook." Oh no, that's not good. He's ex-military.
I was. Why'd you need to take it off of Facebook?
I thought it was crazy.
He can hide it.
I took it down for a second because he was so strongly about it. But I put it back up the more I thought about it. I was like, wait a minute. I can't say it.
But your president?
But your president can say it. And it's perfectly fine by him. Nobody jumps up and down when he says it. Nobody puts his feet to the fire. Oh, but you want to put my feet to the fire?
Well, yeah.
Okay, you know what? I'm going to keep my feet to the fire. I can handle the heat. Right. I can handle the heat.
Freedom of speech is only good if you have the same opinion as the other person.
That's right. That's
the only time it's any good.
Yeah. But also there was, I'm not familiar with this game. It's called Madden 19.
I'm glad you brought that.
I don't know anything about that.
So Madden is like a virtual football.
I don't know anything about this.
Exactly. It's a
but
football
they took Kaepernick's name out.
Good Lord.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That's how petty
a few days ago.
Oh, well, that makes sense because Madden is part of the NFL. Yeah, it's an NFL.
Did they put it back in? No.
When?
Did they?
Yeah, they put it back
They
in.
put it back in?
Let's find out. It's trying to put
After
it
they
back in.
released the game. Like after they had released it, they did an early release for Madden, and then it was actually in there, bleeped out.
The early
when
release.
people were playing it, and after they had been noticed, they finally came back and then re-put his name back in the song.
Oh, so they got backlash for doing it. Then realized, we're gonna lose money. Let's put it back in.
There you have it.
That's what happened.
Look at how that backlash thing works.
There you have it. There you have it. There you have it. So that proves when those sales go down,
they'll make
they'll
some
change their policies. So don't watch the NFL this year.
That's right.
Okay, go to church.
Play with your kids.
I do
Play with the kids.
We have to make an impact. We have to make a statement. And so we don't have to do it violently. Like you said, just redirect your money. That'll do it.
Absolutely.
Then when I get mad at stores like Neiman's and Saks, trust me, my little $1,000 may not mean much, but I'm keeping it. And you will not get it from me.
Right, and I'm telling other people, by the way.
And I'll tell the same thing. Exactly right. So word of mouth.
So it is word of mouth. You just can't do it by yourself.
And,
it has to be a collective.
Well, see, Facebook and social media is one of the biggest collectives you can put together.
But
do they have the discipline to execute something? I don't think we have the wherewithal to execute something and state. We don't have Martin Luther King used to push, the civil rights movement, and he would say boycott and the bus.
So we don't have a leader right now.
We don't have that was my point.
We don't have a leader right now, but
we do not have a leader.
But we've had, we had someone in our lives to show us how it goes.
So it's not like
So we don't need a leader. We know how it goes.
And the NFL is not for leaders.
We, as a team, as a people, we've got to execute it.
We do.
We've already had the information. It's time for us to do it.
So basically, we're asking you, as a form of solidarity.
But it's not that we don't have a leader. It's we're choosing to not accept him as far as activism is concerned. Kaepernick.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's a leader right there, and we're shunning him. No, we're shunning. He's right there.
Absolutely.
He's there in plain sight, and we're not accepting him.
NFL
we're telling him to sit down and be quiet.
There's an article on one of these things. The NFL is afraid of Kaepernick.
Absolutely, which is why all the teams were directed to not draft him.
I had my colleague at work tell me the other day that Marion, racism is going to be there. It's all about control and money. And ultimately, I think I mentioned that he thought that that a lot of this had to do with votes. That basically the Democratic Party is tied in some kind of way with the political thing and the football team, and that would be a way to actually get votes later on. Because again, but I've read somewhere that the Democratic Party is not so much inextricably tied to the media, because the media plays a big role in racism. They create the dichotomy. When it comes, they add to the fire. They just stand on the side and start squirting stuff, to heat it up.
Right, and actually, there's an article here by Darren Johnson. He's a newspaper publisher and college instructor from New York, and it's titled, "If the NFL has 69% black players, all positions, why are only 21% of quarterbacks black?" 2 reasons: the media and the herd mentality of coaches.
That's it. That sums it up right there.
Yeah.
And I think on that note, I think we have Susan, our wellness warrior, who is going to give us a heads up as to what we're going to be talking about at the end of the show next week.
Real quick here, you all saw my Facebook Live when I talked about nutritional suicide. And basically it's just talking about how we are systematically committing suicide via our food or the lack thereof.
Absolutely.
And we're doing it willingly, like sheeple. We say that all the time. That's here on the show. And we know for a fact that if someone we know and love, we knew that they had a knife to their wrist, we would do whatever we could to save them. Let me save y'all.
Absolutely.
Let me help you.
Saving us from the fork. Seriously, yeah.
That's true. That's true.
Because it is killing us, and people are saying, well, we all gotta die of something. It's not about dying. We're gonna die.
We're trying to live.
It's how you live.
It's how you live your life.
How you get there.
Quality.
There you go. There you go.
So again, guys, we hope to see you on the radio next week. I think we're just about getting ready to break it down.
Right. Thank you so much. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for everyone who followed along on our Facebook feed. For those who commented, thank you. For those who sent in texts, we thank you also. Don't forget to, if you didn't get to see all of the show, it's not a big deal. You can always follow along or catch us on our website at www.allaboutyoushow.info. And that is all about you, the letter U, show.info.
And we will talk to you next week and see you on the radio.
All right.
The views and opinions expressed in this program are not necessarily those of the Bridge of Light Radio and its staff.
Mr. Fast Finger.
Facebook.